Is a defib easy to use and is it safe? Yes, it is, and I'm going to show you how. So one of the first steps we want to do is to remove the clothing for somebody that's going to need CPR and eventually a defib. And when we do that, we're going to make sure that everybody that doesn't need to be there is not there around, respecting this person's privacy. We want to apply the pads in this location for an adult. Hopefully somebody's doing CPR before we get to this point. Maybe somebody's doing CPR, they've asked for 911 to be called, and somebody is getting a defib. So when a defib arrives before we get to this point, one of the first things that we want to do, and this is a defib trainer, it's similar to a regular defib, but it runs on batteries. But the first thing we want to do is to turn it on and basically just listen to it.
Apply pads to patient's bare chest. Plug in pads connector next to flashing light.
So as you can see, I've already put the pads on the bare chest. A couple things to consider.
Apply pads, plug in connector.
Is to shave the chest if it's hairy, remove any medicine pads if they're in the way, and stay away from any defib or internal pacemakers.
Apply pads, plug in connector.
So we're assuming CPR is being done still at this time, and we're going to plug in our defib. There's only one way for it to go in.
Analyzing heart rhythm.
So we're going to say staying clear, stop CPR. We don't want anybody touching it. So our defib needs to analyze at this time.
Shock advised. Charging.
So at this point in time, for the lay
Stay
rescue,
clear of patient.
we want nobody near the patient or touching the patient.
Deliver shock now.
Now before I press this orange button,
now.
We want to make sure everybody's clear again. Have one more look. Head clear, chest clear, everybody clear. Shocking.
Deliver shock. Shock delivered. Begin CPR.
So now we can put this little device away, keeping it on, keeping the pads on, continuing with CPR. So backing up a little bit to answer some of your questions that you might have, because I hear them all the time in classes. I'm just going to shut this off so we can talk, but it's always going to be looking for rhythm. So what does a defib actually do? I've heard people say, oh, it starts the heart, it does this, it does this. So let's get rid of some of those myths right now. There's a couple rhythms that a defib looks for. Doesn't really matter for the lay rescuer what they are, but VF and VTAC basically are the rhythms that they're looking for. Does it matter to you? Not really. Does a defib, is it going to shock anybody that is down on the ground and needs CPR? No, absolutely not. So when your heart beats normally like this, okay? If you're in what's called cardiac arrest and it's witnessed and somebody gets there fairly quickly, your heart may still have some electrical activity, but it's chaotic. It's doing this, okay? That is what the defib is for. It looks for that rhythm, VTAC, or a VFib, and it's going to look like this. It's going to say, hey, I like that. I'm going to shock it. So it shocks that, and then your heart hopefully is going to beat normally again. So that, in a nutshell, is how a defib is going to work. A couple things you want to remember, as I mentioned, your pad placement. There are diagrams on each pad. There's also some diagrams on the defib. Again, this is a trainer, but on your regular defib, sometimes they're on the defib themselves or on the inside cover. For the public access defibs that are in arenas, municipal buildings, quite often when you open the door, an alarm will sound internally or externally, and you have people coming as well. A couple other things. I mentioned medicine patch, internal defibrillators, defibs, we want to stay away from them, kind of just go next to them. If we do find a medicine patch, we want to take that off, fold it over on itself. Last thing we want to do is have that sticking to the bottom of our pant leg when we go home. In the public access defibs, in arenas, municipal buildings, that sort of thing, where they're most common, you're going to find razors, towels, alcohol pads, scissors to cut clothing if needed, that sort of thing. So everything is right there. You just need to take the training and go through it. And to be honest with you, it is very, very easy to do. Another question that I get asked is, can I operate a defib in water or some snow, if somebody's shoveling the driveway and that sort of thing, and they go VSA or vital signs absent. Yes, you can. Any standing water, however, if they're in a big puddle, then you just want to remove them from the puddle before you start CPR and before you start hooking up and operating the defib. So these have came a really long way. When I first started with the fire department, they were called like a monophasic unit. They'd shock 200 joules, 200 joules, and then up to 360 joules if needed. These are a biphasic unit. So what happens is they'll shock one way, open up some different receptors, and come back the other way using less energy, less joules. And if somebody is successfully resuscitated, hopefully less heart damage. I hope you like this. I'm going to show you a lot more videos